What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Fireside Rangers. I'm your host, Anthony Rivardo, joined by my co-host in person, Eric Wilson. And we're in crunch time, guys. The NHL season is coming to a close. The Rangers have 19 games left to play, 10 divisional matchups, and they're racing for the postseason. I think they're going to make it. They've got a pretty solid lead on the third seed. However, the Islanders are starting to close that gap, and it does look like the second seed, first seed, those are out of the equation for the Rangers at this point. And they're in a little bit of a slump lately. They lost back-to-back games following the Patrick Kane trade, but I do think that there's an opportunity here for them to turn it around across these 19 games and really make a push to get a higher seed in the postseason and lock themselves in. But Eric, we're going to go ahead and dive into all of that fun stuff, talk about how the Rangers can really push their way into this postseason, hopefully deep into the postseason, and what the key is. But before we do, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. It's good for the Rangers to be back. We'll finally see Patrick Kane play a game. Actually having practice. So hopefully he'll be doing a little bit better. And, like you mentioned, we're probably going to make the postseason. I think it's pretty much like all but guaranteed at this point. We have been in that slump, as we've mentioned, the last couple of games. But if you really think about it, we've been playing shorthanded, only 11 forwards, 5 defensemen, 2 of those defensemen being Ben Harpur and Nico Mikkola again, all that ice time, which they really shouldn't. But tonight we got Keandre Miller back. Mott and Lindgren will be back soon. We got Johnny Brodzinski filling in for Tyler Mott this game with the emergency call-up due to the cap situation. So I think we're going to see a more full team tonight, and it's only going to get more full as we got guys coming back from injury. So the slump, nothing to worry about. It's really just grind time. Got a lot of big games coming up, and let's cover that.
Yeah, big games coming up. Pittsburgh, Washington, Pittsburgh, Carolina, Columbus, New Jersey, Washington, Columbus. So 10 divisional matchups right there. Those are the teams that we're playing. 3 against Pittsburgh. That's not easy. None of these games are going to be easy. It's crunch time, like I said. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Rangers get by here, how many points they're able to pull out of these games. But really, when we're talking about these 19 games left, Eric, it's the 10 divisional matchups that matter the most.
Yeah, I agree. There's a couple of other matchups we got, like tonight against Montreal. Play against Nashville, play against Buffalo, teams that are like decent, but nothing that'll pose too much of a threat to us. Like you mentioned, it's going to be the divisional ones, especially with teams like the Islanders and Pittsburgh in those wild card spots, trying to claw their way up into a divisional spot. So you look at those 3 games against Pittsburgh; those are going to be huge. They're only like 4 or 5 games behind us in points wise. So if they win those 3 games and we lose those 3 games, they're right there, right behind us. So it's going to be really important to win all of those games. And then you got like other teams like Carolina, back-to-back games against them that we're going to have at some point. And they currently hold the number 1 spot in the division. They're a good team. They're a dangerous team. Luckily, somehow this season we've been very dominant against Carolina, which is kind of surprising to see, but it's good to see, I guess. But yeah, they're going to be pretty important. Another game against New Jersey. If we're ever going to catch up to them, that's a must-win game right there. Yep. So I guess we'll see how they go.
Yeah, and we do have 3 games in hand over the Islanders. Now, right now, we've got 79 points. They have 74 points, but we do have those 3 games in hand. So, yes, they're starting to close the gap, but the Rangers do have that cushion with 3 games in hand. But you're right, dude. There's a lot of interesting matchups coming up, and those divisional matchups are key. I mean, the Metro is just loaded this year. There's so many teams this season that are really competing for these postseason spots. And so let's talk about the key to making it to the postseason and making it deep into the postseason. Now, for me, I think it's the kid line. I think those guys, when you look at the postseason last year and the way that they were able to rejuvenate the team, push the team deep into the postseason, really you got to give 90% of the credit to that kid line. And I think that might be the case again this year. When you look at that third line that the kids play on, that's a difference maker. A lot of teams don't have a third line of that caliber. And the Rangers having those kids, now that they have that postseason experience, which I think is the key here. The Rangers, yes, maybe hitting a slump right now. Last year, those kids gained all of that experience, and now they can go into this postseason, use what they learned from last year, and hopefully push even deeper into the postseason, right?
Yeah, I agree. We've seen a little bit of problems with the top 6 recently. The first line has been pretty good, but, as we've mentioned a couple of times, Patrick Kane taking a little long to fit in. But that chemistry is going to come as we play these next couple of games coming up. Panarin, Kane, Trocheck, they'll fit in really nicely. So it's really going to come down to the depth in the kid line. The fourth line will do their role, especially with Tyler Mott back as well. Really just killing penalties, letting the players rest, being like grinders, more defensive line right there. So it really just does come down to how the kid line performs. If you're going to win a Stanley Cup, you need to have pretty good depth right there. You can't rely on the top 6 entirely to score all of your points and do everything right there. So if Lafreniere, Hedl, and Kakko play like they have been playing recently and in last year's playoffs this year, I think the Rangers do have the potential to make a pretty good run.
Yeah, 1000%. And I think another key, though, is the defense because we've been looking at the Rangers lately. And when they are in this slump, I know that injuries played a part. The Keandre Miller suspension also played a part. But their defense has been pretty inconsistent throughout the entire season. They've had some real ups, some real downs. And so defensively, if the Rangers don't improve, it might be an early exit from the postseason, in my opinion. You can't get by letting in 4 or 5 goals apiece. So I think, we're talking about the keys to really push deep into this postseason. Kid line is my first key, but my second line, Eric, it is the defense.
I mean, I agree. The defense wins championships, as we've all heard a million times before in our lives. And like you said, the defense this season has been a little inconsistent. Adam Fox has always been like the number one guy who we always rely on. But now that Lindgren's been injured a couple games, it's like Adam Fox hasn't really been himself recently without his like number one partner right there. And then as we've seen, like Nico Mikkola does not have what it takes. Ben Harper will probably be taken out of the lineup once we got our guys back from injury. But Nico Mikkola is a little bit of a defensive liability right there. So I'm not sure how confident I am in him as well. But we got some good guys as well. Trouba has definitely improved his game. He still makes some dumb plays like every couple of games, but overall not that bad. Miller is always really good, a great offensive defenseman. So when he comes back tonight from his suspension, it's going to be good to see him just like fit back into the lineup and see how he performs after taking his little hiatus from the season right there. But I don't know. Overall, the defensive season has been good, a little inconsistent, but I don't know. When we have everyone back together in full shape and form, and we see them just getting ready to gear up for this playoff run, hopefully they'll look pretty good.
Yeah, we have a little while longer to go, though. Mott and Lindgren not available tonight, according to Gerard Gallant. Igor will be in net, but he said that they're close. He said both of those players are close to making a return. There's a video on Twitter that I'm taking a look at right now in Montreal, and Lindgren is out there on the ice skating in the red non-contact jersey, but he's close. He's not ready yet, and I think that's really going to be a key here for this postseason, though, is staying healthy. That's got to be one of the other keys. Like we're talking about the defense, it's got to stay right, but the team also needs to stay healthy because one injury seems to just ruin this team every single time they suffer one.
Yeah, no, that's right. And recently we've had like a couple of bad luck like streaks with the team. Like right when things were looking perfect, Patrick Kane was like on the brink of becoming a New York Ranger. Then it was just like Lindgren injured, Mott injured, Miller suspension, and we were just what is happening here? Like everything like fell apart for a second, but I don't know, staying healthy is definitely going to be key. We've seen at this point, we have like absolutely like no cap left. So if someone does get injured again, it's going to be a little difficult to like work things out and have people come in, send people down, and just rework the lines. Once you make it to the playoffs, you have your lineup. You have Igor playing like every single game throughout the postseason. One injury could be devastating for the team right there. And it's going to be tough because the Rangers are a team that really don't have too much grit right now. Grit is really important if you want to make a deep postseason run. And a lot of the guys on our team are like Patrick Kane, Panarin, Lafreniere. They're not big hitters. They're not fighters. They're more like fancy with the puck, trying to like make it more of a spectacle. So I don't know, one big hit to Patrick Kane and everything might come crashing down on us. So
yeah, I pray to God that doesn't happen. But one other thing that I think we need to take a look at here when we're talking about the Rangers is the power play, because I know that Gerard Gallant is going to be changing up the power play units. He was a little unimpressed. I think we all were with the power play units after the Kane trade, those 2 games. Very underwhelming performances all around by the Rangers, but the power play in particular, I think they were 0 for 5 in one of those games or 0 for 4 in one of those games. It was something bad. So I don't know. I mean, I think that the power play needs to improve, but Eric, what are your thoughts on that? Do the Rangers need to make a change to their unit?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It hasn't been working recently. The best thing Gerard Gallant can do is to just change it up. And I like the way that he has been changing it up because ever since the Kane trade, what we were looking at was like the first power play line was like completely stacked with like all of our best scorers and stuff. And then the second power play unit was just kind of like our like middle stage guys, like a lot of the kids were on it. Like Trocheck, I think, was on it. And it was very like imbalanced. But now, with you look at the new lines that he's been cooking up right here, they're more balanced. The new power play unit right here, we got Fox, Panarin, Trocheck, Kane, and Lafreniere, and then Trouba's advantage at heel, Tarasenko, and Kreider. Those are 2 very good lines. You look at each of them, even like the second power play line could be the first power play line on a different team right there. So I like the balance. It's not like one's going to have to carry the power play and the other one's just kind of there. It's a good change from Gerard Gallant right there.
So on those 2 lines, though, what do you think about Mikas Advantage at being on the second power play unit? He leads the team in power play goals, and these new units that Gerard Gallant is looking at yes, they're more balanced, but do you think Zibanejad being on the second unit might be a mistake?
I don't think so. I mean, the way that it's structured like this, I could pretty much imagine each power play line getting the same amount of ice time throughout a power play, pretty much split it 50-50. But I like having Trocheck on the first one with Panarin and Kane, mainly because Trocheck is our best face-off guy. He has the highest percentage on the team. And when it comes to the power play, if the other team has the puck, they're just going to clear it down the ice and waste time. So you want your team to have the puck. So as much as I love Zibanejad and his scoring abilities on the power play, it's cool with him being on the second one because Trocheck will just get Panarin the puck, and then him and Kane, once they build up that chemistry, can really just start to work their magic right there. And Trocheck has been on fire recently too. I think he has a couple of goals in the last couple of games, so I'm satisfied with it.
Yeah, and so let's talk about one last thing. We touched on this. We did a whole episode about this a few days ago, talking about do the Rangers need to change their lines after trading for Patrick Kane? Because we saw those first two games. We came to the conclusion after discussing it that no, they don't need to. They just need to give Kane more time to settle in and let the team settle into having him. We agreed, and a lot of you in the comment section agreed with us. Panarin, Kane getting a little too cute, trying to do a little too much flashy BS. They don't need to do all that. So, and I think that it is worth noting, though. Okay, so my question for you, Eric, is how long until we need to change the lines if it doesn't perform? If these lines don't perform, because we're saying, yes, keep them for now, right? But how many games does it take before you say, okay, maybe now it is time to make a change?
I mean, you look at the schedule right now. Tonight we play Montreal, then Buffalo, then Pittsburgh, then Washington. I think after that Washington game, when we have back-to-back very important games against Pittsburgh, if it's not working, that's when it's like, all right, let's switch something up, because that's 4 games right there, a lot of practices for Patrick Kane and the team to really get used to each other. I think that's a fair amount of time, but I really don't think we're going to have to end up changing them. I think it is going to come naturally as well. I also can't really see anyone in the top 6 being moved down to the bottom 6 as well. That's star talent right there. Patrick Kane, no way he's getting bottom 6 minutes. He's a generational talent right there, but who knows? It's hockey. Anything can really happen. So
I guess really the only thing that you could do would be to move a guy like Kane to the first line and Tarasenko to the second. You can maybe make that swap and see if that works better.
Yeah.
In terms of balancing on the ice, but I don't know. I think, I don't even think I would like that. I think that the lines right now, they're perfect. They're beautiful. It's going to take time to gel.
See, that's what I'm saying, because that first line, Kreider's Zibanejad, Tarasenko, has been working. They've been scoring goals. Tarasenko's been on fire. Kreider's been on fire. Zibanejad is always Zibanejad. So it's you wouldn't be able to switch up that second line without moving the really good first line or breaking up the kid line. So it's kind of just it has to work. If it doesn't work, we're kind of just
we're screwed. I think these will be the lines from now until the postseason and into the postseason, and hopefully these lines take us pretty deep into the postseason. I mean, you look at these lines on paper, this looks like one of the best teams in hockey, and I don't know how they can't win a bunch of games. But yeah, I just think what it is, they need time to gel, and once they get that together, it'll be all right. But Eric, any last thoughts as we look ahead to the inevitable postseason?
I don't know. Just looking at it, if the postseason started today, we would be playing a 7-game series against New Jersey. New Jersey would have home ice advantage on us, and obviously they're a very good team. They have a 9 or 10 point lead over us right now. But I don't know. They're a young team, very little playoff experience. Their goalie is a little subpar. So in a 7-game series, Igor versus their goalie, give me Igor. It's I'm confident that this team has what it takes to make a deep playoff push, and I'm excited to cover it.
Yeah, I can't wait to cover it right here on Fireside Rangers. Thank you for that awesome transition. So make sure to subscribe to Fireside Rangers if you are new, because we'll be covering all New York Rangers news, reactions, trade rumors in the offseason, not now, but everything. It's all going to be here, game recaps, and of course, looking into the postseason right here on Fireside Rangers. So make sure to subscribe if you're new and ring the bell so you don't miss an episode. And please leave a like if you did enjoy this episode.
Thank you for 1,000 subscribers.
Thank you for the 1,000 subscribers. It means the world to us. We're going to cook up a little 1K special soon enough. And of course, we'll catch you in the next one. Have a good one. And
let's go Rangers.